Hi everyone, welcome to Krista's Curated Life. I'm Krista and I am a part-time reseller on websites like Poshmark and eBay. And today we're going to be doing a what sold video. This will be for the week of May 25th through the 31st. Let's run through some quick numbers. So I was surprised when I saw these numbers because I did not think it was as good. I had a total revenue of $1,341, a profit of $838. I did run a sale on eBay, which helped move a lot of inventory out. I sold 44 items. Y'all, I'm tired. 44 items for being part-time is a lot, with an average sales price of $30.49. I sold 25 items on eBay, 16 on Poshmark, and 3 on Mercari. And I wanted to tell you guys the impacts I've been noticing in my business. Since I've started my YouTube channel, I've been more focused on like, what is the data actually telling me that I'm doing and how can I make my business the most efficient, because I'm part-time, so I can work less and make more money. Starting in April, I started testing out PrimeLister's automation tools, and I wanted to show you guys the stats because it's been a huge game changer in my business. I don't want you guys to just take my word for it. I want to show you some stats on how it goes because like, it's cool if I like it, but like statistically, how is this benefiting my business and how can it benefit yours? And so I wanted to share some numbers. So I started testing out this software. I'm going to go off of percentage of my sales. I currently sell on 4 platforms: eBay, Depop, Poshmark, and Mercari. My biggest platforms are eBay and Poshmark. So I'm going to compare my April to May numbers in 2024 and 2025 so you guys can get an example of what this looks like. In April of 2024, I only sold 60 items, of which 14 were on Poshmark. That is 23% of my sales. In April 2025, I sold 100 items, 51 of them were on Poshmark. 51 out of 100 sales is 51%. I jumped from 2024 being 23% of my sales to 51. That's crazy. And so then in May, we continued. In May of 2024, 25% of my sales were on Poshmark. And this past month, 47% of my sales were on Poshmark. And it's just been a really crazy impact and benefit. And so the one thing that made me want to try out PrimeLister is that they are a cloud-based sharing tool, offer to Lakers tool. So a lot of other softwares, you have to have your computer running. I don't want to be tied to my computer. I don't want to be glued to my computer all day. And so it's cool that like while I'm sleeping, it's automatically sending out offers and it's done wonders for my business. So I like really encourage you guys to test it out because it's been so beneficial for me. I'll have a link down below for you guys to go and try it. If you don't believe my numbers, test it out for yourself. But anyway, are y'all ready to get into some sales? I will preface that I had 44 sales. That's a lot of sales. So we're going to breeze right through this. I didn't put the sales in date order. And so I want to know if you guys care, like if I go Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, or if you want to see the influx over the weekend. Basically, I had a ton of things to organize and I was just like, I want to make you guys a video and I don't want to spend a lot of time organizing the dates that these sold in. Anyway, I'm also not including the sales that I did in the ship with me. So if you want to see what I sold on Memorial Day weekend, check that out. But we'll be starting like halfway through Monday after I ship my sales. So starting off not so strong, I mentioned I have a bunch of old inventory that I was ready to push out. And so you will see a lot of very low priced eBay sales today. So this is one of them. This is a pair of Lululemon women's run speed shorts. They're this marble color, and I will say that I had pretty decent luck up until this point, even selling super old girls' women's Lululemon shorts. They sold on eBay for $17.62, and yes, that includes shipping. I had this listed in December, so it sold after 6 months. It makes sense that shorts are selling now, but I made $7.30, which frankly, I'm going for more. I'm gonna stop picking up these shorts. I think I have one more in my inventory, but we're done. Again, rest in peace, Lululemon. The next one was an experiment. And every once in a while, when there's a break at the bins and they aren't listing new, or they aren't rolling out new clothing bins, I'll peruse through the hard goods. I do not want to fight with the hard goods people when the bins roll out, because at my bins, I swear they're throwing elbows. It's crazy. But anyway, I stumbled upon these like vintage Tupperware plates. There was a set of 7, and I think they had a tiny bit of wear on them. I picked them up at the bins. I think I wrote down $5. They sold on eBay with shipping for $35.80, and I took home $13.42. They sold after 3 months, so I'd say that this is a decent experiment. I did spend a lot of money on shipping. The shipping for these was almost $10. And so it was kind of a fun test the waters, but definitely I'm not gonna like keep my eye out for this. It's just interesting when I can find extra things for my business. We have a really fun Poshmark sale. This is a Vuori outdoor trainer shell jacket. It was a size large, it was white. I got this through retail arbitrage, I guess, at Turnstile, and they had it listed for $11 because it had stains like all over it. But I could tell the jacket itself was in like new condition. It just had a ton of surface stains. So I did the good old OxyClean soak, and sure enough, it sold for $45 on Poshmark. I said I had no cost of goods into it because I bought it off consignment credit, and I took home $36. I will say, Vuori is definitely becoming an oversaturated brand, and I priced this too high. And so that's why it took a long time to sell. I think I originally had this price at like $78, so significantly higher. This one sold after 3 months, so not bad. 3 months to make $36. I'd say that's pretty good. Next, we have another Poshmark sale. These are Marine Layer Black Allison pull-on pants. They had this cute little tulip hem detail, and they were a size large. They were in good condition. I finally started finding Marine Layer. I think this is like my second or third piece. But anyway, I missed when it was a bolo, but I'd still say it's a decent bread and butter. This sold 6 days after it was listed for $25, and I took home $18. Happy camper right here. Next, we have an experiment that went well. For once. I say for once. Like, they work out more than once, but like, how often? Anyway, these are Hollister Y2K low rise, like mini short shorts. But anyway, these are teeny tiny. They were a size large, and I had them listed for 26 days. And what's crazy is I was like, this fits into the Y2K thing. I haven't seen any resellers sell this, but I'm gonna try it out because it is of the era. And sure enough, it sold for $22 on Poshmark. I took home $15.60. So keep an eye out for those. I was very pleasantly surprised. I do think the seasonality we're in is definitely very helpful. This was a J. Jill piece that surprised me in like a weird way. Okay, so this is a Pure Jill Garden Floral long sleeve shirt tail tee. It is an extra large, and it is Pima cotton. For whatever reason, I don't know if it was this pattern, because I sell a lot of shirts like this. I had a ton of attention on this. It is very pretty and it's in great condition. It sold after 4 days, which is kind of crazy for J. Jill because I expect like 3 to 6 months. It sold for $19, so not a ton, but I had it listed for $24, and I ended up taking home $13.20. So check your sell-through rates on Pure Jill, because there are a few ones that slip through there. I definitely say extra large and up is a pretty safe bet. Check your comps. Up next, we have a Poshmark sale. Not a great sale. I had just relisted this about 2 weeks before. This sold on eBay. I don't want to get into it. It was returned. They just didn't like it. I stopped. I said I don't want to get into it, and here I'm getting into it. I stopped like paying for free shipping on returns. And this was one of the shirts from it. This is a Novo men's tank top. It's a medium. I thought it was a women's. So I probably wouldn't pick this up again knowing that it's a men's medium because it wasn't in phenomenal condition. It sold for $14 on Poshmark. I made $9.05 because I had to pay for the return shipping before. I'm sure my profit's like $2 or $3. To be honest, I almost donated this because I was like, I don't want to look at this shirt again. I'm glad I did list it because it was listed for like 4 or 5 months before it sold the first time. So worth a relist. I already have the photographs. Up next, we have a Poshmark sale. This is an Athleta Soho skirt. I don't have great luck with their skirts, but I always list them anyway. When will I learn my lesson? These sold on Poshmark for $15. I had them listed since October of last year, so they took 9 months to sell for $15. I did list them in October, so like the odds aren't great to sell it then. I sold it for 15. I made 10. I would consign these. Up next, we have a disappointing sale. There's a lot of disappointment in this one. These are Nisolo Paloma open toe leather mules. They were a size 10. They were in pretty good condition. The con is that I've had these listed since October of 2023. So like a year and a half. And I think what annoys me most about this is I've had a decent amount of tension on these for a year and a half. And you know what? Someone sent me an offer for $15 and I was like, take it. I mean, they're sitting in a bin downstairs. You're going to benefit from these. I do think these, Savia has a seasonality component. I made $9.79. Not worth it. I don't really like selling shoes. I don't like buying shoes. I shop at the bins. They're heavy. My Goodwill marks them up. Not worth it to me. Another why? Why, Krista? Why? This is a video on like what not to do. Anyway, this is a Poshmark sale. This is a silver jeans ruffle racerback with braided tank. I had this listed as Y2K. Honestly, I took this as turnstile because it was new with tags. They did not take it. And so I decided to list it, and I had this listed, sold it just after a year for $9, and I took $4.05. Don't pick that up either. I guess a good question I have for you guys is like, do you want to see my top sales, or do you want to see like what actually is selling, what I'm actually selling, like high to low, because this is what reselling is. But anyway, the next up is a bundle. I don't get a lot of bundle sales, so I broke these two out by price for what they sold for as part of the bundle. So this is a Tory Burch sport hoodie. It was an extra large. I had just found this in the bins. It sold after 2 days for $47.60 in that bundle. So it was a 30% off, because that's what my offer to bundle or whatever is. And I took home $36.08 after 2 days. Chef's kiss. Also in this bundle was this Life is Good sweater crew neck. It's 100% cotton. I've never seen a Life is Good product like this, or sweater like this. It was embroidered. It was so nice. 100% cotton. It sold for $23.80, and I took home $17.04. I had this one listed for 4 days. Great profit turnaround. And the fact that I sold 2 sweatshirts at the end of May, I think that's pretty good. Back to disappointing sales. I was just like, move it out. Take it. It's Move It May. These are vintage Levi's 550s. My men's jean bin is full, and I don't want to take it anymore if they are not moving. And so I had these listed in October, which is a good time to list them. They did not sell. They sold on Poshmark for $16, and I took home $10.80. I do say these shrunk because they're like a relaxed fit. They did have the orange tab. They definitely were vintage, but the inseam for like when they shrunk up was 26 inches. And so I'm like, that is pretty short. And so they definitely would be cropped on most men. And so I'm going to be I would hesitate picking up Levi's. There's still a few decent styles, but men's Levi's, I have a really hard time with. Next, this is an Abercrombie and Fitch traveler dress. It's a mini active, women's active dresses are super popular. I'd say look them up when you find them. This was a medium petite. However, it sold on Poshmark for $30 after like 2 months. And I took home 22. Abercrombie has made a resurgence. So don't ignore it automatically, but definitely look it up. We have a bra sale. Would it really be a what sold video if I didn't sell a bra? This is not a good sale. On Poshmark, this Victoria's Secret Body by Victoria lined strapless bra. It did have the straps with it. I do try to stay away from strapless. But this is a 36 GD. I sold it for $12. I made $7.05. And I had this listed for like 3 months. So it's fine. It's fine. Everything is fine. This next sale was one of my very few Mercari sales. I think my other 2 Mercari sales were in my what sold video. So this is maybe a Bolo brand. I don't know. I just learned about it. These are men's Fair Harbor shorts. They are swim trunks. They're a 7-inch inseam. I'd say the more shorter, like 5 to 7-inch men's inseam swim trunks, I have better luck with. So they sold on Mercari for $18.68, which is very specific. And I took home $14.28. I had that listed at the end of April. So yeah, that took a month to sell. I'd say that one's pretty good. Keep an eye out for it. I know they sell other things and not just swim trunks, I believe. This was a lower sale and I am good with it. This is a girl's Patagonia baggy shorts. Frankly, I couldn't let these go in a landfill, and I knew this is actually probably the amount of money I would have gotten from Once Upon a Child, but I just thought they were so cute. I wanted to sell them. These are, yeah, girls' baby baggy shorts. They were a size large. I also put core, and they sold on eBay with shipping for $14.57. I had them listed for 7 days, so I profited $5.57. Not a great sale, but like, if I know it's gonna sell and I like selling it, why not? Why not? Up next, we have this Stio Fairmont Stretch Fleece Hoodie. When I looked this up at the bins when I first found it, it had a really high sell-through rate. Like it was 100% or something, or close to 100. When I got home, and I want to say the price then was like $50. And then I got home and realized there was a hole on the back of it, but I can sew. And so there was a hole in the back. I did repair the hole, but it did sit in a pile for like 2 or 3 months before I did sew it. And so once I had this listed, I listed this on the 27th. It sold on the 27th, same day. And so I want to say the sell-through rate was down to like 30 or 50%. And I wanted to move it, especially because it had a flaw. I want to say, don't quote me, but the ASP was somewhere around $30. So I listed it for $22. So it sold for that price on Poshmark. With shipping, it was, or on eBay, it was $28.21. I ended up taking home $16.71. I just put a few stitches in it to fix it. I personally think it was worth it to fix because with outdoor brands, I find that even, depending on the brand, even if it has small flaws in it, people are looking for the quality of the piece. The name brand is important, but these brands are known for quality. And the odds are if you're outdoors, you might put a hole in it again. It also was like in the middle of the back. So that one was just a note. I've never found that brand before, but I know that they made menswear. Speaking of outdoors brands, we have, I call it a bolo. It might fall into bread and butter. This is a Smart Wool shirt. This is their ultralight short sleeve men's shirt. It was a medium. I put running, hiking, outdoors. It sold on eBay about like a month and a half after listing it for $34.18. I made $22.47. Smart Wool is and has been a very reliable seller for me. If you have watched my videos, I almost swear that like every other video I have sold this swimsuit because I found so many of them. Like one of my favorite swimsuits to sell. This is a somersault side stroke one piece. I also added bridal, vacation, and bachelorette because it was white. This was like very much giving bachelorette trip to me. And I mean, I have a lot of friends that are doing that right now. And so I was like, gotta put that keyword in there. It did have a tiny stain like right on the side. I don't think I actually did any stain treatments for it. And I was like, I'm gonna throw it up. 'Tis the season and just get it listed. And I didn't think it would be a big deal because it was a pretty faint stain. But this sold 8 days after I listed on eBay for $38.54. And I made $26.19. I think I have one of these left. I've sold like 4 or 5 this year. It's great. Up next, we have a brand that's a little bit hard for me to sell, and I've heard other resellers say the same. These are Theory wool blend pants. They're the Trekka 2. I did find the style name in them. They were a size 12, and I think this is the first time I've ever used the keyword dark academia, so I don't know how much that helped or not. I had these listed for just about 3 months, and if you guys are interested, I can go into, I've tried a bunch of different strategies on eBay. After listing at Kaylee Elaine, I think she said after 90 days, they turn on best offer. And so this is something that I think had just hit best offer. So I want to say they offered me like 22 or 24. I took it. So shipping, it came to $29.62 and I took home $16.06. I wanted to give this a try. Turnstile would also mark it up. So I would say either consign this or sell it. But I did want to test it since it seemed like it was a newer piece. Up next is an Offline Airy Real Me Hold Me Up long line corset sports bra. This was a super cute style. It sold on eBay for $24.34. I took home $12.69. The sad part about this is I sold this on Poshmark earlier and I made an oops. I had this listed as an extra large and it was in fact a medium. And so I felt really bad when I saw that case pop up and that, because it was such a cute piece and I hope this person found one in their size. So after relisting it, it sold in 9 days, but I do feel really bad that I made a mistake on that at first, but I am glad I can make some money on it. This is an Aerie sale and I'm really going to slow down on picking up their leggings. I still have decent luck with their crossover leggings. This I didn't realize had the long inseam. It was a size small. So these are the Offline Aerie OG high-waisted long inseam leggings. They were a small. These did not sell that well. I guess they sold after 3 months for $12.53, but I made $3.86. So I would probably consign these. I think on eBay, these sold for like $8.90 or like $6. Like a sad amount of money. This is a Lululemon Swift ventilated racerback run top. I took this to Turnstile and they did not take it, which is shocking. And so I've actually stopped picking up tank tops. I had this listed since mid-October of last year and it sold 8 months later with shipping on eBay for $10.33. I made $1.55. It's not good. Lululemon is dead. We're getting to the end, guys. We're getting close. So these are actually, all of a sudden I started selling these earrings like hotcakes because I opened up offers on them. These are the Kendra Scott Ava drop earrings. These are actually from my first bulk of, these are from my first bulk of this Kendra Scott earrings that I bought back in December. I've sold 4 of them since the 28th of May. So they're finally selling. I think it's because they're super cute summer. So I sold this once on eBay. Oh, I made an error. One of these is supposed to say Poshmark and I wrote it down as eBay. So one of these is Poshmark. 19 sold for $19.51. I took home $4.89 for that one. The next one sold for $24.21 and I took home $8.17. Oh no, wait, those are both eBay sales. Ignore me. The one I sold today was a Poshmark sale. Up next is a J. Crew 100% cashmere sweater. Cashmere sells great for me. I will pick it up in any brand. This sweater I have sold once on eBay already. It was returned to me and it sold right away again. So technically I originally listed this back at the beginning of March, sold end of May on eBay for $27.63. I made $14.50. This is an experiment. This is a Holding Horses Anthropologie brown. I also put roll cuff sleeve plaid dress. It was a size 10 Western. There were like snags across the piece. And this is so funny because this buyer did the exact thing that I always do. I'm always on the hunt for the best deal. And so someone had sent me, this is why you shouldn't list things too fast. Someone had sent me a message on Mercari, and she was like, hey, I was looking at dresses like this, and is there a reason the shipping is like insane on this item? And here I had, instead of listing the dress as 12 ounces, I listed it as 12 pounds. And so the shipping was like $25. And so it's funny because then I ended up like 5 minutes later selling the dress on eBay. And the girl messaged me on Poshmark and she's like, hey, I just got an offer to Laker on this item, but I just want to let you know that I purchased it on eBay. So she found my listing on 3 different platforms, and that is the power of cross-listing, which like, frankly, if I'm looking for something and I feel like a reseller might sell it, I'll copy and paste the title and put it into Google and see which platform it's cheaper on. Almost always it's cheaper on eBay. Anyway, this dress sold for $26.76. I took home $14.91, and I had this listed for just over a month. And so it was kind of fun. Western is very popular right now. And so even with some small snags over the dress, I hope she's really happy with it. But I thought it was really cute and perfect for like a rodeo. Rodeo would have been a really good keyword to put in that too. The next are Aerie Palazzo jogger pants. They had elastic waist, burnt orange. I put pull-on, boho. I think I've been talking for too long. These sold on eBay for $24.80. I took home $9.69. I probably would consign these, but I want to test more things selling them in Aerie. And so the fact that it was like a cottony fabric, I was like, let's give her a try. So I listed this one at the beginning of February, sold end of May. Next, we have Crate and Barrel placemats. They sold on eBay for $45.72. I made $30.30. So the funny thing about these is this was a set of 9. I think I had 11 of them originally, or maybe even all 12. And a few of them had food residue on them. And I put them in the wash before like looking at the wash directions. And you weren't supposed to put them in the dryer, and it ruined them. So I could have made more money on this, but like I didn't read the wash instructions, and that is my bad. But these were like brand new. Honestly, I put country, picnic, striped, like these are just very, very high quality placemats. And I think the fact that I had 9 was really helpful. If I would have had more, it would have been great, but that is my own fault. So I had these listed for 9 days. It was a really great sale. I'm very happy with it. $30 in my pocket. Next, we have this Kendra Scott Ava framed pendant necklace. This is red glass. I put it's 14 karat gold plated. This is from my second Kendra Scott haul. This sold on eBay for $28.81. I took home $11.44. I did have $9 into this piece. And so just over doubled my money, but I'm really happy with that because I think I had 3 of these. Yeah, I sold 1 already. So if you like it, I actually have 2 left. Pop on to my Poshmark or Mercari in the description below. Next, we have this Tommy Bahama polo bundle. It's Supima. These were the Supima cotton. These definitely were from different years, but they were from the same line, so I bundled them together. They were at 2XL. The sell-through rate on these was not great, and so I think I priced it a little bit too low for even it to be a bundle, but they sold for $31.40 on eBay. I ended up taking home $14.51. Got those at the bins. They sold the same day I listed them. This was a bad buy. It was even one of those things that, like, as soon as I took it out of the bag, when I got home from the bins, I was like, why did I buy this? This is a Prada women's jacket. It's a long sleeve knit, like mid-thigh. Frankly, it's a nice warm jacket. Outdated style. I have had this listed since December, so that's really not bad. It sold after 6 months, but it sold for $18.31, and I only made $4. I wouldn't pick this up again. I would be kind of cautious when picking up Prada, but I digress. We have a Natalie Martin Fiore dress. I went to, and I hauled this from a Goodwill with you guys. I paid $6.99 for this dress. I listed at the end of April, and I sold it on eBay for $101.82. I took home $73.74. And we are ending with 2 more Kendra Scott pieces. So this is a Kendra Scott, also the Ava frame necklace, but this one is like a green gold freckled. It's very, very pretty. So I have also this same, like the gold freckled or the green freckled glass, but also in like the bow style. So you may have heard me talk about that one. I sold this, wow, for the same price on eBay twice. Oh, it must be a full price sale. I sold this on the 27th and the 29th, which here's how the fees differ on these. I don't know why the fee is different. So on the 27th, I sold this for $29.04. My fee was $4.52. I took home $11.38. I also sold it on the 29th for $29.04. But my fee was $4.40 and I took up $11.50. So what's up with the like 12-cent discrepancy? I don't know. I had 9 cents into both of these. But I'm really happy with both of these sales. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today as I run through all of my sales. Again, I've seen a lot of growth in my business so far this year, and I'm really thankful to share it with you guys on YouTube, and I'm really thankful for all the new subscribers I have. You guys have such sweet comments, so I really, really appreciate it. I do want to share the love with all. I want to share the good, the bad, and the ugly with you guys. I am really excited to share the wins and the losses with you guys. But I would definitely say go ahead and check out PrimeLister. It's done great things for my business, and it's just helped move a lot of items and help make me more profit. If you like videos like this, feel free to give this a like and subscribe, but I'll see y'all next time. Bye.